would describe myself as a scared, lonely freshman who really just didn't have any type of clue of what was going on. I mean, I came from a public grade school where God really wasn't the most prominent thing in my life, and I had no idea what it meant to praise, reverence, and serve God in any form or any context. So I was really just kind of lost. You know, an experience I think that really caused a change in my response in those questions would be in my sophomore year when I spent a lot of time at church cooking at what we call this thing called pads, and where we cooked food for the homeless and provided a place for them to sleep at night. And while I was there, I noticed that we were really doing good and really providing a service for people that actually needed it. These were God's people. And a story I take from pads that I think really touched me was there was a guy who I had been seeing the past couple Sundays come in, and his name was Lerone. And I remember specifically this Sunday, it was the Super Bowl, and we're cooking and we're making our usual food, whether it was mostaccioli or chicken or some burgers and fries. We put the Super Bowl game on, and the whole room just got excited. And I remember Lerone was like, you guys really don't understand how much this means to us for you guys to let us watch the game in your beautiful place of worship. And we're just a bunch of high school kids. We didn't really understand what that meant because we're privileged and we are used to things like this. Well, they didn't have anything like that. How did that particular experience change me? I think that experience right there was the turning point, and I really began to understand what the whole point of a Jesuit education was. It showed that this world is an unfair place, and that as students of St. Ignatius who are so privileged, we should be doing everything we can to help in this unfair world. I think my Ignatius experience that really changed my image of God was junior year when I had religion with Mr. Wesley. And Mr. Wesley was a really, really upbeat, quirky kind of guy, but he could be very serious at times. And in his serious moments, he really taught me that in the darkest of things, when there seems to be no hope, that you can find God in anything. Like, for example, we were talking about the genocide in Rwanda, and he brought up the point of this story he heard from one of the sisters there, and she was telling the story about how they were hiding a whole bunch of these people in this church, and when the rebels came, these sisters would not let the rebels into the church. Now, they had threatened them with all type of torture and death, but these sisters, they really held on to their firm belief that God would protect them, and God did protect them. He did not allow these rebels to come in and slaughter all these people. And I thought that was really profound, because it is true that you can find God in the most surreal places at the most intense of times. And I really think that's what changed my view on God while I was at St. Ignatius. I think Ignatius has taught me about indifference the most of anything ever in life, because at Ignatius there's so much going on. You've got school, you've got sports, you've got extracurriculars, you've got clubs, activities, etc., etc., making an effort to hang out with your friends who probably don't live around you, because Ignatius is so diverse. And that can really swallow you up like a bug underneath a shoe. And I think to overcome that and focus on your priorities is what makes you so much better as a human being. I think my two takeaways from Ignatius would probably have to be the diversity aspect of it, because it really taught me how to be open to growth and open to new things, and that I can really accept different things and different people and really enjoy their company. And I think that's really valuable that Ignatius taught me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I also think that my second takeaway would be the Ignatius range of education that I received. I learned different things. I learned real world things too, not just stuff in a textbook. I also learned things I can apply out there when I leave Ignatius, such as in college or even after college in the workforce. And I think that those things are valuable beyond any type of measurable number. And that's what I think Ignatius has done for me, and that I wouldn't have received anywhere else, especially at the public high school near my house. And I really think that's what's made the difference in my life with those two things at Ignatius.